Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our tech session today about payment solutions. Let's go to the next slide, maybe Kimberly right away. So we want to just start off, first of all, with some useful information. This session is going to be 1 hour, and we're going to really try to stick to the time here. There is a possibility for you to type in questions already. So in the Zoom, you see when you scroll down or to the right, there is like this little Q&A or a little chat or the Q&A window there, on the bottom of the screen. So you can type those in there and then we'll answer those at the end of the session. If questions come up later, there is a way to send an email then to Kimberly Hoovers at worldline.com. And we'll also be recording this session. So we'll be sending out this recording to you afterwards and also be posting it on the membership portal of the Design Hotels afterwards. Next one, yeah. So today, who we have on the call. So me in the middle here, Simon Titalik. My title is Director of Commercial Strategy and Analytics. And I'm glad to have Inga and Kimberly on the call today as well. Inga is e-commerce manager at Bohemia Suites and Spa, a Design Hotels member in Gran Canaria. And Kimberly is Global Key Account Manager at Worldline. And so how it's what we're going to talk about today is talk about our partnership with Worldline and Design Hotels. Kimberly is going to talk about Worldline as a company to give you a bit of an idea of what Worldline does and where they operate, and also some trends about payment in hospitality at the moment. And then we have Inga, who we're happy that she's joining us today, and she'll be sharing how she's transformed the payment landscape at Bohemia Suites and Spa and went from previous systems to transforming actually to Worldline. That's what we thought it was a great case study for us to share with other Design Hotels members. And then we'll talk about we'll have an open Q&A session and wrap up. So our partnership with Worldline, we at Design Hotels felt there was an appetite in hotels to revisit the topic payment. It's a topic on the one hand due to certain regulations. It's important to revisit that, but also perhaps from an operational perspective, how you're taking payments today, and also perhaps even cost and who you're working with today. So we felt it was important to start a partnership with one of the leading payment providers. So there's some preferred preferred pricing there also that we have for our member hotels. And I think it's a great place to start to say, like, how do we actually do this in our hotels? And is there maybe a possibility or is there an opportunity for us to do this better? So that's all for me. I'll pass on to Kimberly.
Yes, thank you, Simon, and welcome to all attendees of today's webinar. I will just start with a short introduction on Worldline and who we are and what we can deliver to you as a hotelier. Well, in a short sentence, I would say that Worldline is a global leader in digital payments, meaning that we can do everything when it comes to payments. So it's not only the acceptance of payments, but it's also the payment terminals and other more specific solutions, like for hospitality, for example, in the hotel operations, where we can offer a solution which you can connect to your property management system, about which I will talk later, as well as e-commerce solutions. And there are also more unique or specific solutions which are maybe a little bit more distant from a hotelier, but which can also be of interest, like WhatsApp for Business, virtual assistants, and much more, about which I will also tell something more during the webinar today. If we look at where we are currently standing as a company, there are a few points which I wanted to address today, which are of course very important. So we are currently the biggest, I would say, acquirer or transaction processor in Europe, and the 4th biggest player worldwide. And then at this point in time, we have more than 1 million customers, or how we call them, merchants. Then what I like to tell most, which is for me the most important point to tell when I have a webinar or a conversation with a customer, is that we have more than 50 years of payment knowledge and expertise. So we really started a long time ago already, and we have improved ourselves. We started, well, 50 years ago, and what we did in the past 50 years is that we really had time to learn more about the market, to adapt our solutions to it, and that we could develop solutions which are really answering to the changed needs of our customers. And then, of course, to all the different sectors in which we have our customers active. That brings us to the next slide. This is a little bit about our history. And there are a few things I wanted to talk to you about. So on the left side, you see that we started the company in 1973. So we really reached the 50 years only this year. And then in 2014, we became a stock listed company on the French stock market, which was quite an accomplishment, I would say. And I started my journey in Worldline in 2018, and that's where we bought 6 payment services, which might ring a bell on your end. It's a company situated in Switzerland, which has a lot of, well, I would say, visibility throughout Europe. And in 2020, we did our biggest acquisition of all times. That's where we bought the Ingenico Group, which can also ring a bell on your end because they are very big in e-commerce solutions as well as physical payment terminals. Then in 2022, at the end of the year, or 20, we started a commercial acquiring alliance with the ANZ Bank, which is for Australia and New Zealand. And then in 2021, we bought similar companies like Cardlink, Accepta in Italy, and Handelsbanken. So what our strategy really is, and you maybe already understand it from what I just told, is that we are buying similar companies, or we're starting alliances with similar companies throughout the globe so that we can really expand our visibility and our market share. And that brings us to the next picture. So everything which is currently in green are countries or regions where we are currently active throughout the globe. So we're currently working with more than 20,000 Worldliners, and we are active in more than 50 countries. But our solutions are active in more than 170 countries worldwide. But that's just how it is right now. And we're still growing and expanding our markets. So this means that some markets which are currently in gray, which will become eventually green as well. Then within Worldline, we work with different verticals. Verticals where you have, well, I would say a special focus on a type of sector. So you have, for instance, the quick service restaurants where we are supporting very famous brands like McDonald's and KFC. Then you also have the vending vertical where we are supporting Selecta, or the petrol vertical where we are really focusing on petrol companies like Repsol or Shell. And then you have the hospitality sector, or the hospitality vertical where I'm working for. This is also where I'm supporting Bohemia Suites and Spa, as well as where our partnership currently is with Design Hotels. As you see also in our vertical, we are supporting very well-known brands like Accor, the Ascot Group, Michel Rebier, but also Pierre Vacances. This is just in a nutshell because we have, of course, a way broader portfolio of very nice and well-known customers. So we're very proud of where we are currently standing, I would say. Then when you have a company in the hospitality sector, you're normally always focusing on your hospitality or your daily operations in the hotel. And it's sometimes forgotten that a payment provider plays a crucial role in it. Normally, when you're opening a hotel, you're focusing on creating a guest experience, you're focusing on getting the right software in place. And then in the end of the process, you think, whoops, I forgot something. It's a payment solution. Well, that's why I'm here today, especially to just give you an idea of why we are crucial in your decision process as well in your daily operations of the hotel. To start with, what we can bring to you as an acquirer or transaction processor, or however you want to call us, is efficiency. Because we can offer you an omni-channel or multi-channel solution, meaning that you can bring all assets of your payment traffic under one umbrella within Worldline, under one contract, which gives you one single point of contact, as well one financial portal where you can bring all your payment traffic together, which you can use, of course, for easy reconciliation purposes, which then, of course, brings you operational efficiency. Then some other things which are really important, which we can deliver to you, is, of course, cloud-based solutions. The market is changing. And in the traditional way of working in the past, there were a lot of systems which are really local, installed in a hotel or another company. What we are doing with our solutions is really offering cloud-based solutions, meaning that they are accessible during the whole day. Then we can offer you tokenization, something which is of course very booming at the moment, especially because of the PSD2 legislation. I don't know if you're very familiar with tokenization. Maybe you have a solution in place or maybe not. But to give you just an example of what tokenization does, it's just when you have a guest that makes a reservation on your website and he decides to make a payment right away, or maybe just leave his card details to make an authorization on his card. Once he fills in his card in the payment gateway or on the payment page, his card details will be stored safely and secured in a system. And this token will be, of course, in the end sent to the PMS. It will be booked there. If then, maybe during the moment the guest arrives in the hotel or a few days prior to its stay, you can address this token because it's in the end still the card of the guest, but then just a token, just an encrypted code. You can use this code to perform additional charges, or maybe perform an upsell or cross-sell or no-show. So that's also something which we can offer you within our solutions. And then of course, and I think that this is the most important thing, is that we can bring you a connected solution to your property management system as well as to your booking engine. And then there are way more other things which we can offer you when it comes to your hotel operations, and not only for the hotel reception, but also for the F&B. We have various solutions in place, like self-ordering or pay at the table solutions, but also check-in and check-out kiosks. So wherever you want to go, we can support you. Then I just said something about an integrated solution which we can offer you, which you can connect to your property management system. That is our Worldline Hospitality Suite solution. Before I go in depth, there are a few challenges which I want to address, which are currently faced by hoteliers, and probably you know them. What we saw happening, especially because of the Corona pandemic, is that there was a shrinking labor force, and that's still there, meaning that you have a decrease in staff on site, and that with the limited amount of people you have on the floor, you must still continue your daily operations and do even more, which is of course a challenge, especially if your systems are not yet communicating to each other, meaning that you have to perform a lot of manual work, which is requesting a lot of time of your employees. And at the moment, the time is not really there, especially because of this challenge. Then another challenge is the technology adoption, meaning that a lot of hoteliers are still having solutions in place which are ancient or a little bit old. And of course, the market is changing in a high-speed way, and there are a lot of new technologies introduced to the market. So also there, hoteliers are really looking for a way to adopt to this and really implement new technologies on site in the hotel or online on their website. And then another challenge faced is that they are really looking for a way to provide an off-the-shelf guest experience, meaning that they want to be able to give the guests a guest experience which is really smooth, efficient, and which is really adding something to their stay. And then, of course, and the last two challenges are really connected to each other, is that they are really looking for operational efficiency. And this, of course, in the end, if all your processes are running smoothly, this will lead into cost savings. So that's just in a nutshell, the challenges which are currently there. And then what can we do for you to tackle them? That's what we can do for you with our Hospitality Suite solution, which is a solution which can help you from the moment that your guests make a reservation on the website of your hotel till the moment they check out or even after. So what we can do within our Hospitality Suite solution is really offering you a complete package of solutions. So what we're doing is offering you an omni-channel solution that really connects all the dots in your payment traffic of the hotel. As already mentioned, is that you will have everything coming from one single source. Everything will be under one contract, under one umbrella in our company, meaning that it will also be easier for you if you are in need of support, because you will have one point of contact, one support department to which you can reach out if you're looking for support. Then I already said something about operational efficiency. Well, of course, if you start implementing an integrated solution, this also means that you will be able to save more time on your daily operations, because all the systems are communicating to each other, meaning that you will have less time to invest in manual things like putting the payment into the terminal. Because everything is communicating to each other, this will no longer be needed. And then you will have a solution which is coming from the cloud. And as already said, this means that it will be accessible at all times. And this will also mean that you will have easier reconciliation because everything is connected to each other. Then on the omnichannel part, I already mentioned the tokenization solution. And what I will do on the next slide is showing you what type of hospitality use cases you can tackle with our hospitality suite solution. Then when it comes to your guest experience, I think it's good to mention that there are a lot of payment methods which you can offer to your guests. And I'm not talking only about the most famous ones like Visa and MasterCard or JCB or China Union Pay, but also the wallet payments like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Alipay, and WeChat Pay. So I would say that it's possible within the solution to really address the different needs of all your types of guests. And then we're talking about dynamic currency conversion. Some of you might know it, some of you might not know it yet, so I will give a short explanation of what it is. I will also explain a little bit more within a few slides. So dynamic currency conversion is really the possibility for you as a hotelier to let your guests pay in their home currency, meaning that they will feel more welcomed at home or at your hotel or on your website when they are able to pay in their own currency. And then the most important part to mention here when it comes to our solutions is that they are fully answering to the requirements within the PSD2 legislation, as well as the PCI DSS standards and the GDPR regulation. And in the whole solution, we're of course also focusing on fraud prevention and risk management. And then I just said something about hospitality use cases. What we can say is that within our hospitality suite solution, you can tackle everything. From the moment that a guest is making a booking on the website of your hotel till they check out, and even after they check out. So you can think about just the regular check-ins, the no-shows, but also the top-ups, as well as in-app payments, meaning that you can start working with an app to which we connect our payment gateway so that your guests can maybe even book a spa treatment or do room service when they are in their hotel room. And also, if you then look on the checkout part, you can think about quick checkout so that they do not have to step by at your front office desk, but they can just check out already maybe via the app or via the checkout kiosk. And then also late charges can be performed. And most of the steps are all possible because of the tokens which are generated and which can be reused all the time. Then when it comes to our solution and where it can be used. Well, currently we can offer the solution in 27 European countries. There are some countries which are currently in white, which could have been in green. The reason why they are in white is because of the fact that we cannot yet deliver the language on the terminal, so the local language. But all the other things are possible. It's just something with the language. So we can offer the solution, but not yet the language then. And then when it comes to the payment methods, I do not really have to mention them again because I already told them. But what is good, for instance, that in Switzerland, we can offer as well Twint. And when it comes to the wallet payment solutions, what we're doing is we are exploiting on the payment terminal screen, it's a bigger screen, we can deploy the QR codes. And then the guest can just use his mobile device, open the app of Alipay, for instance, and he can just scan the QR code and perform the payment. So these are also things which we can deliver to you. And then that brings us to the next slide. This is just an overview of the property management systems where we are currently having an integration with. This is just the beginning. Our solution is on the market for a few years now, but we're still expanding our partnerships with property management systems. So we're currently, and I think it's good because you can see all the pictures, but I wanted to add that for Protel, we do both the on-premise one as well as the Protel Air one. And when it comes to Oracle, we are doing both on-premise and the cloud version, OPI. Then we also have an integration with Seahot, which you might know, Clock, CTEC, GE, Mice, and Infor. When it comes to the infrastructure of our hospitality suite solution, it's quite straightforward. What you see on the left side is your hotel, which of course connects the PIN pad or payment terminal to your property management system. So that's what you see happening on the left side. Then in the middle, you see a cloud. That's because of our solution, because it's hosted in the cloud. And then on the right side, you have the other part of the infrastructure, which is connected to everything in your hotel. So you have on one hand, our payment gateway, Saferpay, which is our e-commerce solution. Then on the other side, you have our transaction processing part, which is called acquiring. So that's why we have the payment acquiring part, which is us. And then part of the infrastructure as well is our service center, where the solution is hosted, as well as our support department. So this just, again, proves that everything will be under one umbrella for you. Then to continue with our e-commerce solution, Saferpay. I already said something about it. You probably work with the Synexis booking engine or another booking engine, but what we can do with Saferpay is that we can connect our payment gateway to your booking engine in the website of your hotel. And you can really use our payment gateway then to perform payments or to let your guests perform payments on the website directly on the moment of booking. Within Saferpay, there is also a payment link functionality. And it's not just a payment link functionality. What you can do with our payment link functionality is request either a direct payment, so where you deduct directly the funds from the card of the guest, as well as requesting an authorization, meaning that they will receive a link where you request the authorization. You just say, okay, if you want to guarantee your stay in our hotel, please go to this link and perform the authorization. Then on the moment they arrive in the hotel, or maybe a few days prior to the stay, they do no longer have to interfere in this process. It's you addressing the Saferpay back office, and you can just go into the authorization and swap it into a direct payment, and you do not need the confirmation anymore from the guest. This all has to do as well with the developments in the PSD2 legislation, because the guest already gave his commitment, his approval, his guarantee during the authorization. He also gives you the approval to perform additional charges based on the token. So this is something which you can also do with Saferpay. So it's not just a solution to accept payments on your website, but you can also request payments through links as well as authorizations through links. If you want to, and we will share with you the slides after the webinar, you can sign up for a free Saferpay account, and then you can just see what the solution can do for you. And it's also possible for you already to send out test payment links to yourself. So then you can just play with the solution. Then we have a short explanation on dynamic currency conversion. I already said to you what you can do with it. So it's just the possibility for your guests to pay in their home currency. And they can do this either on the payment terminals as well as in the booking engine on the website of the hotel, where our payment gateway is of course connected to. So on the moment that your guest inserts his card on the payment terminal, or he is typing in his card details in the payment platform in the booking engine, he will get the opportunity or possibility to pay either in his home currency or in the local currency. Let's say that I have a hotel in Europe, so the local currency is euros, and I have a guest coming from the United States. Then the guest can pay in US dollars. And if he does that, the screen of the terminal will show what he will pay at that time. as well as what it will be if he just goes for the local currency. If he decides to go for his own currency, the exchange rate is better, as well as what you know as a hotelier, that if the guest decides to pay in his home currency, you will get a kickback on that. Meaning that on each transaction which is processed in the home currency of the guest, you will get a percentage back on the commission which we calculate to you for the processing of the transaction. So if you are very eager in offering dynamic currency conversion to your guests when they are at the reception desk, you can earn a lot of money back on the commission which we calculate. So also for this, and that's something which I really wanted to address, is that if you have dynamic currency conversion activated, but you're not really using it frequently, we offer on-site and online trainings which are free of charge, during which we can really give your employees some guidelines on how they can have the best conversation with your guests at the reception desk. Then when it comes to the acceptance of different currencies, we currently have 47 currencies available, so that's quite a lot. So I would say that you can welcome a lot of your guests at your hotel with the possibility to let them pay in a currency which they already know from their hometown. Then I wanted to give you a little demonstration of our financial portal, My Portal. This is our portal to which you will get access, in which you can find information about processed transactions, but you can also address this portal if you want to extract statements or if you want to download copies of invoices. I will just go into the demo environment. It's a click-through demo, so if you're interested after the webinar, you can open it yourself as well. It's easy to navigate through, and you just stumble upon the homepage with some nice analytics about the transactions which have been processed, as well the total amount of turnover and what payment method has been used mostly by your guests. Of course, it's up to you if you're interested in these figures or not, but they are there. And then you can go to the payouts button. What is good in our solution is that you can see both the payouts which we already performed to your bank account, as well as the ones which are expected. And if you are interested to look for payouts, you can just search for them in a specific time period. As well as it possible for you to download an extract of the payout. And in my opinion, the information on the screen is quite clear. So you also have a clear overview of what is part of the payout, what fees have been calculated, as well as what payment methods were used in the payout which we performed to your bank account, of what transactions were processed within the payout. Then if you go back to the home page, we can also go into the documents part. Normally, when you have an active account, you can just download the statements here, which can be a detailed one, but also just a summary or recap. Also here, you can easily search on a certain time period, as well as, let's say that you are a hotel group and you have various hotels with us, then we can grant you access to all hotels under one access or one login, and you will be able to extract these statements based on each company. So it really depends, of course, how you want to work. We can talk together about the setup you require in our system, and based on that, we can grant you the required accesses to our platforms. Then the last part I wanted to show you is the transaction part. So also here, you can find information about processed transactions, as well as the commission which we have calculated to you on these transactions. I don't know if I can go in it now. Yes, I can. So if you just click on a transaction, you find more details about the total amount, as well as the commission which we have calculated. Now you cannot see it because it's not an active account, but normally you will be able to see it. And if I then go back here, also here you can extract reports, as well as for performed or successful transactions, as well as the ones which are still pending. And you can also use the My Portal application to find information about chargebacks or disputes, the ones which are pending, as well as the pending authorizations. So that's our My Portal solution. And then we go to the next. Then there are a few more slides about what we can do more for you besides our hospitality suite and Saferpay solution. And then we will go to the most important part of our webinar, our Q&A session with Inga. Normally, people only know Worldline because we are selling payment terminals and we're doing the acquiring contracts on the payment terminals. Well, Worldline is an IT company from its origin. So we can do much more than just delivering the payment terminals and the acquiring contracts on it. So what we can do, and that's something which I like very nice, it's always very nice for me to tell, is that we can also do live streaming. Let's say that you are going live on a platform like Facebook, and you're just talking about a nice stay at your hotel. And during this live session, this live streaming session, it's already possible for your guests to book the trip right away. That's something we can do for you. But we're also focusing on artificial intelligence, chatbots. We have smart software for refrigerators, which tell you when your milk is empty, and then you can just order new milk right away. So we do more than just the payment terminals. So we can say that we have quite some innovative use cases in our oven. And one of them, I will stop. Can I delete this? No. Okay, so one of the solutions which we recently launched to the market is our Tap on Mobile solution, which is a payment solution which you can use on an Android smartphone. The only thing which you need to do is sign a contract with us. You just download an app on your mobile device and you are able already to accept payments from your guests. So let's say that you are looking for a extra payment solution on site, or maybe for something in your F&B, it might be that the Tap on Mobile solution is of fit for you because it's quite easy to implement and straightforward. And as said, you just need a contract, you download the app, and then you can already go ahead. Then also for the F&B, we have various solutions in place. So we can do the pay at the table as well as pay at the counter, meaning that it's possible to just pay when you are next to the cash register from the restaurant, as well as where you have someone from the restaurant coming to your table where you can perform the payment. And then besides this, we also have a wide range of payment terminals which are maybe not connected to your cash register, I'm sorry, but which can also be used in your F&B. Then, of course, the market is very, well, changing fast. So we are also adapting to these fast changes, and we're looking into other ways of paying than just the standard boring ones with a card. So what we are working on are facial recognition solutions, meaning that, for instance, you enter a hotel and the hotel recognizes you based on your face or your eyes, and you can check in or maybe perform a payment somewhere. So this is not really something for today, I would say, but it's something for the near future. And it's of course something quite specific, but this is something where we are heading towards. And then, well, I myself, I'm based in the Netherlands, and Dutch people, they do not really like to pay. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong solution. This is the WhatsApp for business solution. I'm sorry, I'm mixing two things together. So what we can do is we have a WhatsApp for business solution, and this is really where you can have another way of communication with your hotel guests through WhatsApp, meaning that you can just have a conversation on the reservation of a hotel room, or maybe some additional things like a massage treatment or a trip or excursion or whatsoever, and they can just pay right away through the app. Then we have a virtual assistant, which we call Eva. This is something which is deployed on an app, so you can just easily download the app as a guest. And when you arrive, for instance, at the hotel reception, Eva can give you a tour through the hotel. She can explain to you how you can perform the check-in at the reception desk. As well, can she tell you what nice excursions there are available, or how you, or at what time you can go to the restaurant, what the opening times are of the bar, and so on and so forth. So that's also something which we can offer you together with one of our partners. And then we're at the most important part of our webinar today. We're starting with our customer testimonial together with Inga from Bohemia Suites and Spa. It will be some sort of an open Q&A where I will ask questions to Inga about the solutions which they have implemented 2 years ago already. So it's both the hospitality suite solution as well as our Saferpay e-commerce solution. Inga, are you there?
I'm here. Hello. I'm happy to say hello to everybody.
Good. Well, I'm very happy that you are here today as well. It's the second time we're doing a webinar together, so I'm always very pleased to work together with Inga on things like this because we're a great team. So that's good. So let's just kick off with the first question. As you said, the hotel is working with hospitality suites and Saferpay, which are integrated solution. Can you tell us why you considered to switch to an integrated payment solution?
Well, it was, as you mentioned, 2 years ago when we were advised to follow the PSD2 regulations. Mm-hmm. And in other words, we weren't allowed, it wasn't possible for us anymore to type manually card numbers and process payments, just like we were doing when we had normal bank terminal and we needed to guarantee a reservation to make sure the card is working, to charge a deposit payment, and everything was manual work. But that regulation made us change and start looking for some kind of solution. Mm-hmm. And that's how I found you at Worldline.
Good. So can you then tell us how your payment traffic was organized before you implemented an integrated solution?
Before it was like very old style. I mean, we received the reservation, we had a card number, we took our bank terminal that was on the desk, and we started maybe to process an authorization of €1 to typing the card number. If it went through, okay, we were guessing that this card was valid and it belonged to the customer. And if there was a payment, the same way, but there was no other security in place than just what could be expected or what we could guess. It was nothing connected, or as we experience it, as our experiences now with Worldline, that everything has become more transparent. No, it's
okay. So do I understand correctly then that you were still also having like card details on site? I mean, it's
of course. I mean, some years ago we still, of course, you printed out in paper card numbers. This wasn't allowed anymore, and we were often advised to have this in mind. So then we switched to maybe store reservation documents as a PDF, but we were still seeing card numbers, entire card numbers, or maybe if there was a reservation over the phone, we noted down the card number somewhere. So all that kind of notes just we had to disappear, and it was in a good way, in a smooth way that we are able to handle payments now. Yeah, it's correct. It was, of course, everything was manually on paper.
Mm-hmm. So everything in the previous situation, your channels were not connected to each other?
No connection at all.
Okay. Then we go to our next question. So when you were looking for a suitable payment solution for your hotel, can you tell us what the key elements were in your decision process? What were you looking for?
Well, as we had, as you asked, there was none of our systems any payment processing system connected. Mm-hmm. We had a small brainstorming on site, and we said, look, then it would be nice to find a solution that in one single provider for all our needs. And so as we started the implementation, so now we wanted to do it in the best way possible and to have something for our PMS to make the on-site payments smoother, of course, for our booking engine, to have payments processed at the time of booking, and as well to have the possibility to send under our own control, kind of pay links, and but to have all these parts like in our hands, in under our control, not depending on third parties and not depending on another maybe intermediary company to process such sensitive and sensible cases as payments are. So it was clear for us to have one single provider for all our needs. And of course that this should give the security to the guests and to ourselves regarding the financial aspects of the hotel business.
Okay. So I noted a few things down. So we were talking about the security part, which is of course very important, to just streamline the processes and make them more smooth, and to be able to just have everything in your own control, except with other external providers.
Yes.
And then you wanted to have a payment link solution.
Sorry?
You wanted to have a payment link solution.
A payment link, yes. Now I'm saying it like very easily, let's say, but by then we didn't even know what it would mean to us, to our daily operation. And there was one more thing that it was also very important when we were in the time that we started to check, and the costs, of course, then we realized how much are the costs of the banks actually charging for having pay terminals in the reservation office, to have one or two at the reception, to have one at the bar, one at the restaurant. So we during this process, we started to learn what are those hidden costs from the bank, actually. Right. That is then, maybe it's processed once in a year, they are charging us some scheme and commissions, but once in a year, it's not related to each payment. So we weren't, until that moment, to be honest, I wasn't aware of this kind of extra costs that are anyway around. And it was, so we started to compare it, of course, what the pay solution like Worldline, of course, we had some other candidates, and we did a research in the market. And in that time, it was when we started to compare, and found out a lot of interesting things.
That's good to know. We exchanged a lot of emails together, so okay, let us continue. So can you tell us how the guest experience has improved since you implemented an integrated solution into the hotel operations?
Well, how in many aspects. It's on one side, of course, during starting from the reservation process, it's payments, authorizations, it's now automated. Those processes are automated. As you already explained, we are able to access the tokens. So this means we need to ask the guest in much less occasions for a credit card, for another payment, for another authorization, which was always, it's, of course, it's like, it looks like more professional. I think it's just more professional to have this. And then of course on site the same, when it comes to guaranteeing extras, when it comes to performing the payment upon checkout, it was a really slow process at our property, because just before integrating Worldline, we had the PMS change as well, and in the process it was really slow. So a checkout was, even if we were quick already because we had this routine, it was, for the guest, it wasn't a nice experience. So this everything, we could eliminate a lot of manual steps and turn them into automated processes, and it was really it's much more smooth now, right, for the guests.
That's good to hear. So you are now able to deliver a better service to your guests because the processes are automated.
And it results, of course, in much more time in those small moments. maybe to talk to the guest and not stuck on the payment, just maybe to ask him about how was the stay and have this couple of minutes instead of doing paperwork. So maybe have some personal attention. And yeah, of course, guest experience has also improved because thanks to the pay links, especially if we want to deliver extra services, the sales has increased. Yeah, we could get creative, offer some more possibilities because we really got creative thanks to having a background of payment possibilities that is much wider now than what we had before.
Right. I see that it's 10 minutes before 11, and I don't know, do we have any questions from the audience, or do we continue with our questions before the time's up?
I would keep going a bit more, and then just a reminder for all the people that are attending the session, you have a tab in Zoom where you can raise your questions and answers, and we will for sure leave 5 minutes at the end of the session to go through these questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. And Inga, if I can just jump in with, do you have an example of, you said you got creative. I think you've had some other services, or what are you doing in that stuff?
I mean, on one hand, we have a high demand from the local guests. That is, I mean, we are located on an island, and in some months it's like, maybe there's not so much traffic from outside, and we have to focus on the local guests. And there were a lot of demand, for example, for a day pass, for several options of day pass. We even had day pass and the day use of the room and all that kind of services. It was very easy for us to handle it thanks to the payment solution, because we were requesting the prepayment in the same in the moment of booking. So like a client wants to sign up, of course we are a boutique hotel, and the spa and the pool areas are in this size, and it's quite limited. But in order to maximize those kind of sales, we were then of course requesting a prepayment, and it's so easy. We are communicating basically, especially with the local people, over WhatsApp. And we could just paste, for example, the link. Yes, I would like to book the spa, please. Okay, then it's a payment here. And it was really so easy. We got the confirmation. They got their confirmation. And it's like what maybe was before: a call, an email, an authorization form where they needed to mail us back, which needed to be written. So just all those steps in one. And this is just an example of saying day pass, of saying the sales of gift vouchers, and what all has really started to grow a lot at our property. Yeah.
Thank you, Inga. Let us go to the next question. So can you tell us how the internal processes and the staff efficiency have been impacted thanks to implementing an integrated solution?
Yeah, of course, it goes a little bit in line with what we discussed before. We have much more time. The internal processes are now automated instead of manual typing. The overview is much clearer for all the involved, receptionist, the accounting manager, whatsoever, because the transparency of all the transactions that are handled is much clearer than when before. Maybe we had to check the bank additionally and then come back and wait for an answer, things like that. Now we have an access. And if it's a token, or if it is a transaction that we have a question about, or if we need to increment an authorization, it's much more efficient now, right now. It saves a lot of time. It seems apparently not, but it's really worth to set up. I mean, to go through the process and set up a payment solution, an integrated payment solution.
Right.
Overall, yeah, it's more efficient.
Does it also decrease the errors which you normally have manually if you type in like the wrong amount or whatsoever?
Of course, as the readers are activated exactly with the amount that is due, for example, at checkout, the balance is it's closing the bill at the time of paying. the payment is processed and the bill is just closed and settled. So it's like all those, yeah, of course, automated processes are helping a lot in the daily operation.
That's good to hear. Then there's one more question left, and I think that we are there then. Yes. So can you tell us what the main benefits are of having an omni-channel and integrated solution in place?
Yeah, of course, it was our first main point was the security for the customer and for us, and to be PCD2 compliant in all our operations, to reduce those chargebacks or disputes, as you mentioned. It's a better control. We have really a strong background on all payment issues, and if I say all, it's even you can make have arguments against the OTAs, for example, offering you their payment solutions, because you already have it in your hands and it's under your own control. You don't need some OTA solutions just because they want to sell them. And of course, it's the transparency, which we liked from the very first moment. So it's really clear how much, which fee and which other charges are there for you, and what is the terminal cost in a month. It's very, very much clearer than with a bank. And yeah, overall, it's the automation and in general, the time saving. It's yeah, basically the security, the reduction of errors, the sales that you can increase because you have a strong partner in the back.
Right, so it really brought the perfect
really
changes
happy
to the hotel.
We are really happy. Yes,
that's
we are really happy to have come to an end with this process and make it around a full solution and integration in our operation.
Right, and I'm of course very happy that we worked together for 2 years already. So also that's to just end this part.
Yes.
As we still have only 3 minutes left, I don't know, maybe it's better to just, are there any questions, or are we just wrapping up the session?
Yes.
I think we can wrap up the session.
Okay, then I wanted to tell one more thing, so I will just go to I will go through this part because we do not have time.
No. But if you will send the slide, then they can see it. There's some examples for a booking engine. How it looks now, it might be familiar to many of the participants.
Perfect. So if you are interested to learn more about what the booking process will look like, there are some slides in the presentation to give you an idea. And then if you have any questions, you can address them to Simon by email as well as to me, or if you're interested in one of the solutions or to learn more, just contact us and we are more than happy to help you out. And then to just end our webinar, I want to thank you both, Inga and Simon, for your time to attend the webinar today, and thank you for all attendees for joining today. You will receive the recording as well as the slides in your mailbox quite soon. And then have a wonderful day, and hopefully we see you next time again.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you.
Thank you to all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.